Hello my friends, Ruben Obed here transmitting live from GB Music Group Studios in Dorado, Puerto Rico. And today's episode of the Ruben Obed Show is going to bring to you the halftime show at the Super Bowl. You see guys, everybody knows I support Trump. Everybody knows that I'm a music producer. Everybody knows that I love to speak and talk about the Word of God. And I'm not a pastor, I have never proclaimed to be one. But since I see so much incompetence within the religious community, and I see so many self-proclaimed pastors that talk the talk but don't walk the walk. Well, I have found it to make, as part of the Ruben Obed Show, I call these people out, and everybody knows that I do that all the time. So right now what I'm doing in regards to the Super Bowl halftime show, pointing these things out, is to show and to educate these little so-called pastors about what life really is and what God really is. And this is something that should be done by the pastors, but it's not, because I reached the conclusion that they lack the discernment to point these things out. So that being the case, I'm gonna fill that gap. So this video is about pointing out, right, and pointing out and showing people how active Satan is working within our culture. This isn't a video about telling you not to watch a Super Bowl. This isn't a video about telling you not to enjoy the halftime show. Oh no, on the contrary. I want you to watch them. I want you to enjoy the good things of this world. But I also want you to be awake. And I want you to be able to point out the things of the devil within the regular life that we are living. You know, because a lot of times ministers and fake pastors are like, oh, you'll go to hell if you watch this. You go to hell if you watch that. You know, a very well-known pastor by the name of G.J. Avila, which people followed, you know, back in the 70s and the 80s, Christian Pentecostal pastor, he would call the TV La Caja del Diablo, the devil's box, you know. Yet he made his ministry out of the TV. So, you know, and I'm not saying this with the purpose of talking bad about G.J. Avila. No, he's a man of God and he's with the Lord, and God bless him, and he did a lot of good. But my thing is, I want to point out the symbolism in things without the legalistic and fanatic way of being of many of these self-proclaimed pastors. So, without further ado, Ruben Obed tearing up the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Alright, and here we go. We're going to open up here the Super Bowl 2020 halftime show. And let's begin pointing out the symbolisms.
The Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay, right there, right from the beginning, we're seeing two women.
The Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay, two women. That is the focus of this. Two women. You know, we live in a feminist society now, and this is depicting the empowerment of women in this society. Okay, so let's keep going.
The National Football League welcomes you to the Pepsi Super Bowl 54 halftime show.
Okay, there she is wearing red. There she is. They're all wearing red. If anybody knows anything about the devil, Satan worshiping and seances, you know that they dress in red, signifying blood sacrifice. Okay, now, you know, if you see this, if you look this into a spiritual context, this is worshiping. All right, worshiping and doing a ritual. You have the circle, which might signify something at some point. So let's keep watching. Okay, notice the song that she's singing in particular. She's a wolf. You know, she says she's hungry. I'm not going to go in depth with the lyrics of Shakira, but it just the choice of lyrics being utilized for this event holds some significance. Okay, now we have some solid music. Okay, now it's funny that we go back to here. Shakira, many people, some people don't know, she is Colombian, but she has Middle Eastern origins. So if you notice the vibe, her way of singing is Middle Eastern, like paying homage to the Middle East, and you will notice. Okay, listen to that. The empires of the world unite. Okay, what is she pointing towards? She's pointing towards a one world government. We all know that the Antichrist is going to rule the world, and it's just interesting how, like, her first lyrics, the empires of the world unite. Now, like I said, I'm not gonna focus on the lyrics of these things, but I think it was important to point that out. Alright, there you go. Rock, okay, the heavy rock. Everything turns red. Why red? Okay. And like I said, guys, this might simply be colors as well. So I'm not here being legalistic saying this is it, but I'm pointing out possible symbolic things within this halftime show. And if you notice the undertones of the music, they sound eerie, dark. There's the circle again, the circle. Okay, she's holding something in her hand that resembles a serpent. She's wrapping the serpent around her hand, meaning I am tied, enslaved by the serpent. Now she's dancing as a slave of the serpent. She's a slave. Okay, now it's an erotic dance. She's wrapping the serpent around herself. And once again, like I mentioned, she's paying homage to Middle Eastern, the Middle East, and these are people that worship, other gods and worship other things that's not the true God. Once again, look at that. Turns red, and she's in the middle of hell, in the middle of the fire. Okay, notice her eyes. Alright? Notice her eyes. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. Alright, it's like a possession, like a rebirth. Okay, look at the look. Look at the look. Okay, when she turns her eyes, look at that. Demonic look. Look at the tongue. Okay? Demonic expressions. Okay, an upside down triangle. This might be some other symbolism, could mean Illuminati, but as you notice, there is the flames within the circle. Okay. want to point out that these people that are cheering, if you're anything familiar with the music world, these people that are cheering are groupies. It isn't a regular audience. These people are staged and are put there to make the visuals look really good. A lot of them are Shakira fans, but they are staged and they're put there on purpose for the visual and aesthetic aspect of it. People from fan clubs, etc., are usually put there. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's where the geopolitical thing starts, because now she's bringing out her Latin roots. Clearly a political statement. And once again, the song, I like it like that. I like how things are. Okay? Okay, one thing that I noticed like that. Listen to that. Alright, here we have a rapper by the name of Bad Bunny. He's one of the top rappers right now that sings trap music, and you know, just what a coincidence. His name, even his name is Bad. Okay, I didn't understand hardly anything he said, but at the end, all I heard in Spanish was "Viva la raza." Okay, long live the race. A lot of Mexicans, and you know, especially when they come over from Mexico, that's what it's all about. La raza, the race. Viva la raza. So this is clearly a geopolitical influence going on right here, a political message. So clearly, this is all turned into a Latin representation. Okay, and let me point out that the song they're singing is called Puro Chantaje. Chantaje means deceit, or when somebody suckers you. So she's singing, after singing all of those political influencing, now she's singing Eres Puro Chantaje, which makes us, you know, could make us lead to believe that this is like a hit against Trump and against the present administration in regards to, you know, Latin America. Okay, and just to mention, if you're not familiar with Bad Bunny, that song right now that he's singing is one of actually his songs from his album. And you know, it talks about a supposed good girl that all she's about is, you know, drugs and you know, smoking weed and, you know, and drinking, and basically that's what the song is about. You know, so it pays homage to that kind of lifestyle. Okay. Okay, once again, the color red throughout the entire show. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, she's now being carried by these people. Okay, basically, you know, proving what I said, that this is staged, because a mega star like her is not going to just throw herself on top of, any audience, risking getting dropped. And they do put her back on the stage. So also this can be symbolic to, the people carrying this message, okay, that she's preaching here. Okay, there you go. The circle coming out again. Okay, clearly a mockery of something, probably mocking Donald Trump, mocking God, because there's no purpose in that tongue flicking thing she did right now. Okay, you see this dance right now that she's doing? These are African rhythms used a lot in Santeria and voodoo and paleria and all of those witchcraft African origin religions, and she's dancing to it. So, because as we all know that Hispanics, we have Afro-Caribbean roots. So the congas and the dancing, this is all African religions. So in other words, what she's saying is, we're down with the Latinos, we're down with the Africans. Okay, she's saying no fighting. She said that a couple of times, but now I realize what they're talking about. They're talking about no fighting in terms of the politics with Trump and fighting Iran, and that's why they're saying no fighting. Because the devil doesn't want you to resist him. The devil wants you to let him continue doing his thing. So it's like no fighting, all in the supposed name of peace. And there go the red colors again. Okay, there is Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, on top of the Empire State Building. We all know that New York is a place that, it's relatively liberal, and she's the queen here, depicted as like the queen of Babylon, okay, on top of the building. Okay, now she sheds whatever clothing of dignity she has, and now she's wearing, basically looking like a tramp. Alright. Now she's singing Jenny from the Block. So in other words, she's saying, I'm still Jenny from the Block. I can relate to you because I'm like you. I'm from the block. And if you see these hats, and if you know a little bit about it, like if you watch a lot of movies from the 80s, the homosexual movement used to wear hats like that, a lot of leather with like little spikes. So that is a representation of the gay community. There you go. Once again, we're from the Bronx, New York. In other words, we're with you guys. We're with you guys. There's a triangle again. Earlier we saw an upside down triangle. Now we see another. I'm gonna pause it right there. Symbolism, Illuminati symbolism. There's the circle again. There's something with that circle. Okay, now she's riding the pole, basically, you know, saying, yeah, we're all for strippers and strip dancing. All right, there you go. She's on a pole like a stripper, and she opens her arms, emulating the cross. Okay, the cross, and you have the people either dead or bowing down to her cross. Okay. And right there, she's laying vertical, or I mean horizontal, looking as if she died, clearly mocking the crucifixion and the death of Jesus Christ. Okay, look at how the people are like adoring her as if she were God. Look at how this lady, how these people are just like looking up to her as if she was a deity. Look at that. The floor breaks down under. I knew that the circle was something. There you go. There you go. The people that were laying there at her feet, they fall down into the pit of hell. Once again, the choice of music, waiting for tonight to hold you here in my arms, you know? But yet you're depicting scenes of falling into a bottomless pit. Look at what this guy is singing. Okay, so we see a bottomless pit, and now this guy, rapper, I don't know who that is, I think it might be J Balvin, I think. He's singing Que calor, which means, oh my God, so much heat in Spanish. So much heat. Que calor. Okay, notice in the shirts once again, Shakira mocked by going la 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 la. But look at the shirts, the red shirt that you guys are wearing. Notice an emoji of laughing, another mockery. All right, right there we got in the circle, we got the colors. that might be making reference to the gay community.
Introduce you to the party people in the club. If you want, you gotta get on the floor. If you're a party people, step on the floor. If you're an animal, then tear on the floor. Burn the sweat on the floor. Yeah, we work on the floor.
And, you know, once again, the lyrics. If you're an animal, sweat on the floor. You know, I mean, everybody knows that satanic things are and always make reference to animalistic things. So
don't stop, keep it moving, put your drinks up.
okay, and if y'all remember, la, 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 that melody that she's singing, it comes from the lambada, which was considered the prohibited dance from Brazil. It was a very sexual in nature, suggestive, and when it came out in the early 80s, the lambada, a lot of people, talked about it because it was like this, taboo dance. So, she's making reference to that in this song. There it is, the melody from the song La Lambada. So she's saying, put your drinks up. She's making an allusion, she's supporting drinking and sex, and that's what she's supporting. All right, there you go. Hispanic kids in what? Cages. You guys know what that means. Trying to make it seem as if Trump has put these children in cages. Okay, look at what the little girl is singing. I don't know who sings this song, but she says, if you want to live your life. All right, let me forward it again. All right, if you want to live your life, live it all the way and don't you waste it. We all know from Satanism that Aleister Crowley wrote the Satanic Bible, and the theology behind that, and by Aleister Crowley, is the phrase "do as thou wilt," which is basically a Luciferian doctrine. So as we see here, if you want to live your life, live it all the way. Don't you waste it. In other words, do as thou wilt. Demonic in nature again. But then they put the children, because everybody knows that children represent God, as the Bible says, let the children come to me, meaning to Jesus. So they're trying to mix, they're trying to make themselves look like the little saints in this whole demonic ritual going on. There it is. I knew there was something with the circle. Look, feminism, the female sign. See, this is an homage to women. Why is that? And I'm not against women, but the Bible says that the man is the head of the household. God made the man the head and not the tail. And this is all a feminism movement. So we see the satanic and feminism movement going on here. And then now they have the American flag on their chest. But these are the same people that will bow down, when the national anthem is going on. Let's get loud. What they're saying is, let's revolt against the system. Okay, there she comes. She's draped in the American flag. And she says Latinos, as if all the other races don't exist. and she opens up, and it's the Puerto Rican flag. If you notice, the American flag is left to the back. She said, let's get loud. You're wearing the flag. This is clearly, let's get loud against what is established, against the things that, that represent America. Okay, there you go. Ain't nobody got to tell you what you got to do. Once again, making reference to Aleister Crowley's "Do as Thou Wilt" satanic philosophy. All right, now they're singing "Samina Mina." Shortly after doing everything Hispanic, Latin, in other words, I'm down with Africa. Then she says, let's get loud. In other words, all the Hispanics, all the blacks, everybody, let's get loud. Let's revolt against the system. And then at the end, they put Latin music, everybody dressed in white, as if we are victorious. We are pure. And they raise up their goddess. There it is, the two women. So there you have it, my friends. Ruben Obed here, showing all of the symbolic and satanic things within the halftime show at the Super Bowl 2020. Now, that being said, like I'm telling you, and like I said in the beginning of the video, I am not against people watching the Super Bowl. I'm not against people enjoying the halftime show. These artists, very, very talented, I as an artist, I have a lot of respect for their artistry, and they're very successful, Now, the reality is that I have no doubt that all of that I mentioned is symbolic and satanic in nature. We don't know if these choreographies, these lighting schemes are controlled by other people, so I'm not here to say, oh, J-Lo is a devil worshiper or Shakira is a devil worshiper. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just pawns in something a lot bigger than they are. Maybe they don't even notice, but I notice, because when you have your spiritual eyes open, you notice, and I believe that a lot of pastors, if you do not have these spiritual eyes, then you shouldn't be a pastor. If you're not noticing what's really happening in the world, that's what's really happening in the world, guys, and when I go to the churches, all I hear is fanaticism, people sending people to hell, and you can't exclude yourself from what the planet. We live here, we're human beings, you know what I mean? But we have to be knowledgeable and know what's going on behind the scenes. How can we minister to those people if we don't see the signs? So Ruben Obed transmit live from GB Music Group Studios, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, if you like this video in particular, if you like the other stuff that I do, and you wish to make a contribution to our channel, you can do it at http://paypal.me/Ruben Obed, or easier, I'll write it down in the description, and you guys can make any kind of donation, which will help us continue bringing and doing these videos and programming, supporting God, supporting Trump, and everything else we do here at GB Music Group Studios. Take care, guys. God bless. Ruben Obed.